Yeah, I mean, very impressive win. Not just because of the score being 9-0, but how these young women played together, how they started the game, just the relentless forecheck, and we talked about that all week, of how we know that some teams like to trap against us, and we're going to really have to get pucks deep and not create turnovers at the blue lines and really focus on our forecheck. And it was just brilliant to see how many of the players were doing things away from the puck to make sure that it was the right play. And we knew it was going to take everything, and all the details mattered. So happy to see them kill the penalty kill. Happy to see them score a couple on the power play. And those areas are areas that we're trying to focus and that we know will be key as we approach the Frozen Four. But just an immense amount of pride in these young women. And I asked how many of them have been to the Frozen Four, and with all of the talent that we have in the locker room, about half of them stood up. So this is a really prideful moment for like Bilka and others, that they get to have the opportunity to go for that national title.
Hannah, I was going to ask you, being, now going to Frozen Four, being a part of this team for the first years, how good does it feel just to have this first NCAA tournament win under your belt?
Yeah, this is really special. As a fifth year, you know how hard it is to make it to this tournament, and it just shows to all the hard work we put in. So definitely not taking anything for granted. There's only one game left guaranteed. So just have that grateful mindset and, play to the best of your abilities.
Is this your first time personally winning an NCAA tournament game?
Yeah.
What does that feel like?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome, but at the same time, the goal is the national championship. So it was never just to make the NCAA tournament; it's to win it all.
And Raygan, for you, I mean, how much of a confidence booster is it, after the last game, just to come back and get a shutout today?
Yeah, it was definitely a nice bounce back after last weekend. But I think it worked for the whole team too. We all kind of needed that bounce back and just really get the feel of the puck and get under our feet a little bit, and really great offense too. I think today was huge, and the specialty teams were huge for us too.
Nadine, how do you feel like this team can build off of today and the momentum that it gives you?
Yeah, one thing I'd like to add is how we played defensively, and Kirky in particular, because she stopped a breakaway when the score was only 2-0, and we always talk about key moments, key plays at key moments, and that was brilliant of her, and she looked very fresh on the ice. So I think it was a character win, but also I wasn't ever worried about them physically, it was mentally. And so I wanted to really worked them hard this week in practice, but also did a lot more film on key areas that we knew we needed to tighten up. And so we focused on those, and I think they were brilliant because they did get an earful about how Saturday went. And us as coaches, we got to take ownership too. And I think that it just showed a lot of their resilience that they have in themselves to fight back and make a big statement on this win today.
Nadine, you had mentioned yesterday how tough it's going to be to beat a team for the 6th time in a season, and to end it. How important was that start? I feel like that's exactly what you're looking for. Trying to beat UMD a 6th time.
Yeah, it's never easy to beat anybody in our league, let alone 6 times. We've never done that against Duluth, as they've been a very respectable opponent and have a long history of success. And so we also know that the slate is wiped clean when playoffs come. So we just had to really focus on us and how we play, and then zone in on that, and just remember that we are the #1 team, and don't lose sight of that and go after them.
Talk about being the #1 team. You mentioned the Colin Gay. You wanted the team to come out and play with a little bit of swagger and represent that #1 seed. Do you feel like you guys came out today with that kind of ferocity that you didn't come out with on Saturday?
Absolutely. I look forward to some redemption.
All right. I have a question for Raygan. In the Wisconsin game, there's a lot of breakaway opportunities that they had where it was kind of you against whoever had the puck. And today, in those opportunities, you kind of were able to stand tall. Was it a different mindset you had coming into the game, or did you just feel a little bit more fresh after having the back-to-back last weekend?
Yeah, I think that was something I worked on this week and even this morning, getting on the ice, just getting breakaway reps, and it's just it's 50-50 you and the player, and you need to make those big saves for the team. And I just did gave it all 100% today, and it worked out. And then the girls went down the other end and really showed that we're a very offensive team as well.
And then for Coach, I thought there were certain points in the second and third period where you could kind of tell Duluth was getting a little bit frustrated, a little bit chippy. Physically, did you appreciate how the team kind of responded to kind of keep their level headed on their shoulders and not kind of feed into what they were trying to do?
Yeah, good point. We talked about that on the bench. Is the game was 7-0, and we felt confident that we were going to be making the Frozen Four at that point, late mid third period, and just reminding them almost at every timeout that you have another game, and we need all of you to be involved in that game. So, yeah, I want them to always protect each other. I didn't mind what McKenna did to get that penalty, and she's also the smallest person on the ice, so good for her. But, yeah, it was about the right times to protect your teammates, but also know what the end goal is.
Nadine, just what are the biggest areas of focus now for this next week as you get ready to go to Durham?
What we're focusing on through the week, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, always special teams. I think when you go toe-to-toe against anybody at this point in the season, 5-on-5, it's going to be pretty even. So special teams are going to be crucial. There are areas that I'd like us to focus a little bit more on that I won't say publicly, as I don't want to spill everything that we're going to train for, but it also depends on who we play and what their style is. So we're going to have to adjust certain parts of our game to our opponent, but stay true to who we are and why we're here.